Yeah, I think there was a lot of attention to detail, just with the new game plan and everything like that. I think a lot of people, really, sat and looked themselves in the mirror to see what they could do better. And I thought there was a lot of tempo, a lot of energy today. A couple mistakes, but that's going to happen. And I think there's just a lot of good energy today.
Was there things that you did from the game to now that, as a quarterback and an older veteran guy, that you think had an influence on some of that, or were you trying to anyway?
Yeah, I think it's tough to always come back, from a loss. But, as soon as the game's over, making sure to, keep people's heads up. You see people, with their heads down. I mean, it's tough, to be in a close game like that. Obviously, you want to come out with the victory. But at the end of the day, it's on to the next. You can't keep your head down for too long. And, we have a solid team coming in this weekend, and we got to be ready for it.
You had a great game against them last year, your first career start, I think.
Yep.
You think back to that at all? Or, I know both teams are a lot different.
Yeah, kind of, not really. It's a whole different team there. It's a whole different team here. But it's just crazy how, fast time flies. It feels like it was just last week we were out there and, got the win there, and just hoping to get another victory this weekend in Tempe.
How does having a guy like Gio in the backfield make your job easier?
Yeah, I think, putting Gio and putting other skill guys like Melquan, those two guys are just so shifty, and, to get them matched up with the linebacker is super tough, and it just makes defenses, really stress on, how they want their matchups to fit. And, we just have a lot of great athletes that we can put anywhere across the field, and just trying to exploit those mismatches.
Speaking of mismatches, when you look at Colorado early on defensively, without giving away the game plan, what do you see that you think you guys can take advantage of?
Yeah, they play really hard, a lot of energy. They have a lot of new guys, so I think, that's one thing that we can kind of key in on. But, watching film on them, they're great up front. They have good, solid players in the linebacker position. And, in the back end, that's kind of, where they fly around. They're going to talk a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just really, we got to focus on us and see what we can do.
Looking like it's going to probably be close to a sellout again. How excited are you guys to start seeing these crowds so big?
Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously we want to put on a good show in front of our home state. But really for us, we can't really get too worried if there's a lot of people there. If there's nobody there, we got to bring our own juice. Last weekend there was barely anybody there, but we still got to come out and hopefully it's a good crowd, and hopefully we can put on a good show and really come out with a victory.
Coach said that this is probably your best offensive practice of the year, and it comes despite having kind of a tough game against Cal. What does it say about kind of the resiliency of this team?
Yeah, I think this team has gone through a lot of adversity, whether it's coaches or injuries or, wins, losses. We're really, trying to, look forward to what we can do next and how we can be better and not get our head too low and just know that, anything's possible. So really just trying to be the best we can be.
How about your brother's honor that he got?
Yeah, that was awesome. Super exciting to see Trayson have a great game. It's really been, just, tough for him to really, kind of get going, playing some tough, Iowa and just playing some really tough teams. But to see him do his thing, it was super exciting. And, now he's got Mississippi State this week. But, he's going to go out there and try to do his thing. And, but it's awesome to see him lead his team to victory.
Now it's kind of a full game under your belt this year. Obviously, you played a bunch last year, but just kind of coming back from that injury earlier, now that full experience, how do you feel coming into this week? Just a little bit better?
Yeah, I feel a lot better. Finally getting a full game. It's kind of tough to play last season at the end of the year and miss the first couple games this year. Not miss, but just not play the first couple games. So for that to be my first kind of game action, the first couple of drives I kind of felt a little antsy. But as the game went on, I just felt more comfortable, and that kind of led to offense being able to do a better job.
How do you always maintain that always ready mindset, next man up?
Yeah, for me, it's just kind of the person I've always been. I've always been the guy. I'm always the guy that's always been on the field. So for me to, be the backup, to be the guy that's, not getting much playing time is different for me, coming into college. But at the end of the day, I'm going to train like I'm the starter, and you just got to always be ready, next man up.
Obviously, this game has a little bit of a hype with Dion coming in and whatnot. And it seems like you guys know better than to give them bulletin board material.
Yeah.
Is that kind of just something is it preached to you guys, or you guys just know that?
Yeah, I think, it's a little bit of both, but, I think each and every week, it doesn't matter who we play, they're kind of, faceless, we're going to watch their film, but it's not really, it's these guys or these guys, it's just, this is our opponent this week, we're going to play them Saturday, it comes Saturday night, it's on to the next opponent.
It could be good, though, because obviously more eyes are going to be on your team, so maybe if you could come up with a good win, it kind of sends a message because you're going to have a larger audience, do you think?
Most definitely. I think, we know this team coming in has a lot of, eyes on them, but I think it'll be good for the Pac-12 football.
Speaking of eyes, obviously defense has to account for things. So now that you're on tape making a great catch from Cam, you think that's going to cause that linebacker a little bit more every time you make a pitch?
Yeah, we'll see. Bryce, was watching, my highlights the other day, and he saw my high school highlights catching the ball. So, we'll see what we have in the game plan.
You mentioned the juice this week, the importance of that, and how you had that last week as well on the road with a smaller crowd at Cal. And talked about Colorado having a lot of juice, obviously a ton of eyes on them. So switching it back onto you guys, what's been the focus of bringing that physicality and that juice this week in practice?
Yeah, really just looking in the mirror and making sure, everybody wanted to talk about, what we can do this year. And obviously it's not the season we've wanted so far, but, we can control what we can control, and just making sure that, if you're hurt, you're still going to be out here, you're going to be cheering, being loud, because, that energy is contagious. And, if you have a positive energy, that's just going to bring the best out of everybody.
Can you build off that game at Cal as a team? Do you think, Trenton?
Yeah, I think definitely, it was tough. Defense did a solid job. There were a couple of third downs that they executed. Offensively, there were just a couple plays here or there where, the substitution error, I missed a couple reads, threw a terrible interception, backed up in our field that, put the defense in a tough situation. So, there's about 10 to 12 plays that you really look at, credit to Cal, they're a solid team offensively, defensively. I mean, that punter of theirs did a great job of just field position the whole game. So we know we're right there in that game, and we can't get too down on that game. But really just, watching film, learn from it, and hopefully we don't make the same mistakes again.
As an offense, you did some good things, though. How do you feel about some of the progress that you made offensively?
Yeah, I think we did a good job. We had a couple injuries early on in the game, but I think, we bounced back, and, we had a couple of explosive plays here or there. Just trying to get the ball in playmakers' hands and let them do the rest.
Being one of the core leaders on this team, Trenton, just through this losing stretch, how do you keep your team motivated and wanting to get them over the hump to get back on the win?
Yeah, I think it's just, being the competitor we all are. Nobody's used to losing. I think everybody came here to win. That's everybody's objective. Your guys' job as, reporters is to be the best reporter you can be. So for us, it's really just to try to be the best person we can be each and every day, whether it's in the classroom, the field, the practice room, really just trying to do what we can do to be most successful. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to need to happen for us to win.
I apologize if you were asked before, but just what's the thought about going up against Coach Prime, Colorado, a team that's been the story in college football for the first half?
Yeah, for us, it's exciting. I think it's going to be a great game for Pac-12 football. But for us, they're just kind of, a nameless opponent. We're watching their film, but, it's not ooh-ahs. We respect them. They're a solid opponent, and we just can't wait till Saturday.
How about their defense? What strikes you about their defense?
Yeah, they play with a lot of energy. Up front, they got a lot of great athletic guys moving around with speed and size, and linebackers fly around and, make some big hits. And their back end, they have a lot of great athletes back there that can play man, zone. They do a great job of mixing stuff up, so it's just going to be a really great game, and we've got to be on our X's and O's.
Do you think they fly around a little bit more athletic, more energetic than what you saw last year up in Boulder?
Yeah, I think it's like 98% a whole different team. So I think it's going to be a lot of new guys. I know that safety's there from last year, but I think it's going to be a super exciting game, and it'll be a great game for Pac-12.
What are your reflections on that game last year? A memorable afternoon?
Yeah, it was a pretty good night. Flying back. Celebrated that Saturday, but Sunday it was on to film and review and get ready for the next week.